What's going on, everybody? My name is Brian Bauer, and today we are back with another interview. It's been a little bit since I've done one of these kind of videos, and today we are with none other than a singer that's been known in the prog world over in Norway, and I mean, I'm sure like maybe all of Scandinavia, for a whole bunch of different bands. You've been around a long time doing this stuff, and I'm going to say the name wrong, but it's Øyvind Hægeland. Can you? Did I get it half right?
Yeah, Øyvind Hægeland. So that's good.
Okay, awesome. So Øyvind is in a band now called Terra Odium, but you also might remember him from a band called Spiral Architect, which has one album that is like, super popular, actually, at least to me. A lot of people know it in the underground. It was called A Skeptic's Universe. Anyway, you've been in a whole bunch of bands, and I'm really stoked to have you on the channel today. So this is going to be really cool. So how you been doing?
Oh, I've been doing great. It's been doing a lot of interviews for the album, and starting to calm down a little now. So it's cool to catch up again, to do another interview.
Yeah, same for me, because it's been a little bit. I just did one with I'd consider him an up-and-coming guy named Jack Harris, and I swear he set the bar like super high for like everybody. The guy just brings crazy energy, and we've just been busy, and it's been hard to get back at it. So either way, we're here to talk about this new band of yours, although it's not totally new. They're called Terra Odium, which you are the vocalist of. And are you just the vocalist, or do you also do guitars on that?
Also do lead guitar.
Oh, sweet. Okay, so anyway, Terra Odium has released an album earlier this year called Knee Plus Ultra, and what label is that on?
Frontiers.
Okay, I'm like, it's not Seasons of Mist. I knew that. On Frontiers IRL, I believe that's what it's called. So anyway, that album, how's the album been doing?
Well, the feedback has been fantastic. We didn't, when we made the album, it was never about, we never thought of how it would be received. We just were so busy mixing and playing and recording, and so we never thought of how it would do. So it's been received, it's been fantastic, really. Good reviews and a lot of attention, so really good.
I think what some people may not have realized when they first clicked on that was a lot of people would follow that YouTube channel that Frontiers has, where they put all their artists' videos and stuff online. And maybe somebody new coming into this probably doesn't realize that all the members of Terra Odium are all from bigger prog bands over time. Like you have Steve DiGiorgio on bass. I'm going to say it wrong. Asger Mikkelsen. I said it. Did I say it? Man.
Asger Mikkelsen, yes.
Mikkelsen. Yeah, my Canadian tongue does not say Norwegian words very well, if you haven't noticed. You have him. You have Ole Fredriksson. Did I say his name right? You call him Ollie, I noticed sometimes. On
yes.
Yeah, so you and him did Manitou, and obviously we don't have to even introduce Steve DiGiorgio. He's been in so many awesome bands over time, including Death and Testament. I mean, the drummer was in Borknagar, which was an amazing band back in the day, like kind of like from the black metal, like right into, I don't know what you'd call them now. I always really liked them too. And you did Spiral Architect, and so you have somebody on keys in this band too, right? I'm trying to think.
Yeah, well, it's not really keys. He's an orchestrator. So a virtual orchestrator. So he composed orchestral pieces for us.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure how that all worked, but I know this is a lineup of people that actually has quite a bit of influence out there in the world, whether people maybe realize that or not. And I feel like some of the people who are subscribed to this YouTube channel may not actually know Terra Odium, so definitely check them out and check out the other bands as well. But anyway, I want to focus on Terra Odium some because this is the current band. I don't want to live necessarily in the past. Oh, we can talk about that stuff a little bit later on. But how did Terra Odium come to be? What was the goals? Like, how is this just like just drinking some beer, saying like, "Hey, let's start a band," or what?
Me and Bully, I used to live in Sweden.
Okay.
When I moved back here, we got in touch again, and he played me some music, and it was one of the songs that's on the album, but it was more brutal and with really fast drums and growling vocals. And I said, well, it was a cool song, so I said, let's try to make something together. And we started creating music, and one of the songs is on the album, the first one we did. And we were just thinking of releasing it on YouTube or something like that, but we started to get a lot of songs, and we really liked where everything was heading. So we decided, well, maybe we should take this further. So I contacted Steve and sent him a demo, and he obviously liked it. So that was really cool. And I talked to Oscar, and he was in. So we've progressed from there. And I always liked albums like The Warning by Queensryche or Roger Waters' Amused to Death, with more like atmosphere, the orchestral stuff, almost like a movie. And so I put out an ad on my Facebook page asking for if somebody knew someone doing that kind of stuff, and one name came popping up, and it was John Phipps. So I contacted him, and rest is history.
You just took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say the rest is definitely history. And so Need Plus Ultra to me is like, it's a pretty focused album, definitely on the older side of prog. Because a lot of people, when they talk about prog these days, it sounds like they're talking about periphery. But when I was a little bit younger, progressive was more like, almost like that fusion style, like Dream Theater and Symphony X and that kind of thing. And so, and this is more like, to me, when I hear Terra Odium, it sounds very much like it was guitar driven first, which is really cool. Instead of just like, I don't know how to describe it, but some people like to do some other things here. But you guys have a very guitar driven approach. So what was your approach to songwriting? Like Ole, you said came in with a song already. So how did you approach that from there? Who did most of the songwriting, by the way? Bully writes all the songs.
Okay. All the music. And it's as you say, guitar driven. That's what we wanted to do. We wanted to go back to how prog metal was when we were younger, and Fate's Warning, and even King Diamond. I mean,
I love King Diamond.
That old guitar. Now it's more like the guitars are more percussive now.
Yes.
And back then they were more riffs,
yes.
More Metallica or even Ozzy riffing. So that was the kind of metal we wanted to do. The old progressive, take it back if they can. So Bully comes up with all the music, the guitars, and he also writes some of the. He writing some of the drums, or at least given a
like a MIDI file, like a drum tab or something?
Yeah. Just I can't remember the word now. It's been a long time since I speak in English.
No, it's all good.
Suggestion to some drum parts, and I come in and we start improvising vocals. And in the beginning, when we started out, we could have a song ready in a night. Just starting to improvise and take it from there. So that's how I do the vocals too. It's just starting to improvise and.
Yeah. So then you just have like random words like turkey or something thrown in there, and then you got to change it to something like a better, obviously better.
No, actually not. I would do that in the early days.
Okay.
And come up with vocal lines first and then write lyrics. But now we do it the opposite way, and that makes everything more exciting for me. And we use there's a bunch of the songs that the lyrics are poems from the 1800s on the album, by Emily Dickinson or Robert Frost, or so then it's trying to get that to fit into the songs, and that is a challenge, and it makes the vocals more unpredictable in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I know The Cloud at Morning is actually a poem too, which is the last song on the album, which is the first song that was released. There was a video edit released there one day. And one thing I've noticed about your vocal style over time is that you were able to sing very awkward words and still make a melody out of them, which you don't listen to like Spiral Architect or Terra Odium and hear fire rhyme with desire. This does not happen around here, and it's like even the vocals, like I don't know how, like you just make a word and we don't make the word, but you know what I mean, like there's some strange phrasing, but you make it work and it flows, and that's really good. And I don't know if everybody could really do that, and I like how you took that poem or these poems and did that. I didn't realize there was other ones on the record as well, but I knew The Cloud at Morning was a poem. I don't remember the writer of the poem, but either way, that is one of the cool things I do really appreciate about your vocal style and Terra Odium and whatever it is you do.
Well, it's a poem by Jones Very, The Cloud and Morning. Jones Very.
Okay.
But also It Was Not Death is a really haunting poem by Emily Dickinson.
Okay.
And The Thorn is by William Wordsworth. Winter is by Anne Hunter. Road Not Taken by Robert Frost.
Okay. Some of these names I do know. I'm not most versed in literature, but clearly you are very versed in literature. And me, no, I'm a simple man. Crawling, was that a poem too, or did you guys write the lyrics?
No, it's the first song we wrote. So that's my lyrics.
Okay, that's cool, because that was a cool one. And so, speaking of which, I think this leads us into the next part about this. Before Knee Plus Ultra came out, there was a bass playthrough by Steve DiGiorgio. I hope I'm saying his name right. I should be. He's from North America, but I have a way to screw things up. He released a playthrough of Crawling without vocals and I believe without guitar solos back in 2016.
Yeah.
And then there was like this 5 years of waiting. So what were some of the struggles along the way for getting this album out? Because I feel like it was written a while back and probably already long recorded. And it took a long time for this one to come out. So for me, there was a lot of hype.
Well, it took 3 years to get Steve down here to the south of Norway before he had the time to come here and record. So that is recorded at Bully's house in his studio down here. So that was 3 years before that happened.
That's a big
and
gap.
Then it took everything took so long because everybody is very busy. Oscar is very busy, so think it took a year to from when he started to the recording sessions were never that long. It's everything in between that's take the time, and and John Phipps, that took a year because he was also very busy writing for other bands, and he had to prioritize those bands because they pay him money.
Yeah, I hear you.
So and then we also had to learn how to mix an album. Me and Bully produced and mixed the album, and that
awesome.
That took a long time, failing and start over again, and then it was negotiations with the record company, whole legal stuff and all things like that. So it took forever, but finally, so it was. At one point, we didn't even know if the album would ever be released. So, very cool to finally get it out.
Yeah, I mean, and it's an awesome album too. I mean, I really liked it, and I'm glad that it came out because, like, there's some other hype. I won't maybe name names, but there was another band from over there. There's like all this hype, and like the lineup was like insane. It was more in the black metal realm, and they just never released. It's just nothing's ever came out of it. Do you know? I don't know if you know the band I'm talking about, but I know that there's been some hype. But I believe they wanted the bass player from Spiral Architect on that one. I'll just say it's God of Atheists, and I'd really like to hear that one. Do you know who I mean?
Yeah, it's Oscar's band.
Aha. Yeah, well, I'd love to hear that one too. So I know I have like zero influence on the internet to do this, but man, I heard like one teaser and it was sick. So
yeah, I've heard some of it, and it is really cool. Just a few. Well, I don't want to.
Don't spoil anything.
No, that's Oscar's tables. I don't want to say anything wrong here. So.
No, don't. If you know, if we do, we can always edit it out. But either way, so Ne Plus Ultra. Do you have any favorite track or tracks off that album?
It's always hard to choose, but I think what I would say is my favorite track is "It Was Not Death."
Okay.
Mainly because I never thought that we would ever do acoustic or it's not a ballad, but a more quiet song, and also because of the poem it's very haunting, the poem, and we tried to get that atmosphere in the song, and I think we really succeeded. So I must say that is my favorite track, but I love all the songs. But
that's good, because one thing I did like about that album too is that you didn't put a bunch of filler songs in it too. It was focused and good. I didn't realize you guys mixed and mastered that yourselves too. That is hard to do. Wish my thing would. I have all my notes up here on an iPad and it's not unlocking for me. Stupid thing. So is Terra Odium, do you think you're ever going to get any live shows in?
We hope so.
That would be really cool. I mean, obviously it's a weird time in the world to play and all that stuff. So,
well, when we started out, I wasn't interested in doing anything live, but as the song progressed and really enjoying the music, really enjoying making music again, and I'm eager to be on a stage with this band. That would be amazing.
That would be really cool. I mean, it might be hard to get Steve over there. He's in a band called Gone in April too, and I saw Gone in April, and they had a different bass player. And I pity that bass player because he had to learn Steve's parts. And my God, that guy was really good too. I don't know his name. We couldn't really talk because he only knew French, but Gone in April was sick live too.
Cool.
Yeah, you probably know who I mean, I'm guessing. Yeah. They're from Canada as well. They played here like 3 years ago, and super nice people, an awesome live band. So obviously you're a singer and all that stuff, and you played guitar on the record, but you've been singing in a lot of bands. over time. So what are some of your influences as a singer? Now, I think that I can name one right now, and it's John Arch.
Yeah, absolutely. My main influences is, as you said, it's John Arch. It's the young Jeff Tate.
Oh, man, nice.
It's Midnight from Crimson Glory.
Okay.
Rob Halford. Those kind of guys, and but especially John Arch, because I think he's unique. Well, they all are unique, but he has such a different style. So his vocals are so adventurous and different. So that inspired me to, not necessarily copy him, but trying to do more that kind of vocals, that style of vocals.
I mean, and then you've kind of taken that, but you are unique yourself, though. When I hear you too, like, I know it's you if I hear it on the records.
Well, thanks.
Which is really cool. But John, I can hear that John Arch influence for sure. Like songs like Guardian by Fates Warning. Like, that's like the old Fates Warning. I forget the name of the guy who came along later. I know Fates Warning's actually still around. And Jeff Tate, I mean, what can you say? I mean, well, Queenstrike had their little blunder later, and apparently I'm seeing Queenstrike live next April. We were supposed to see Judas Priest. It was going to be my 4th Priest show, and Sabaton was supposed to be the opener, and I was pumped for it. And because of what happened to Richie Faulkner, I don't get to see them now. So they switched the opening act to Queenstrike. But Queenstrike, it's not like the Operation Mindcrime Queenstrike of like back in the day, which is a little disappointing, because like that and Empire are those are just killer albums to me. So anyway, still pumped to see them. I wanted to see Sabaton. I don't know if you're a big Sabaton fan or anything. I'm not like a massive fan, but they put on a good live show. And Priest, I mean, I've seen them 3 times, so yeah, I can say they're pretty sick live, or I wouldn't have gone back the second time, so you were in some other bands over time, which I'd like to pick your brain about a little bit, and we can talk about them. One of the big ones to me is Spiral Architect, with one album called A Skeptic's Universe. Now, as far as, I don't know if I'm right, is Spiral Architect still actually a band? Yeah, that's super cool. And you guys were playing live here and there, weren't you?
Yeah, we played in US and down in Europe and around here in Norway.
That's really cool. So that's an album too that's incredibly unique. There's only one band that I think was kind of like Spiral Architect in a sense, and I think they were called Twisted Into Form. Which was, I believe, another Norwegian band too. But
it was Kai from Spiral Architect.
Okay. Anyway, the Skeptic's Universe. Were you involved in writing the music of that band?
Yeah, and one of the songs are mine. Okay. Well, and there's an instrumental part that's mine too. The keyboard, that the shuffled part. I wrote that.
Okay. That's you mean for try to think of that song. I know the part you're talking about too. The
ending of Cloud Constructor.
Cloud Constructor, yes. Okay. I don't know why I was thinking Insect for a second, because I'm pretty sure you guys did an ode to a band on that record as well, which was why can I not think of their name off the top of my head? It was a Ron Jazzer, I can't pronounce his name either. What's his name there? Why can't I think of the band? Watchtower. Thank you. You know Watchtower?
Yeah, sure. Love Watchtower.
Yeah, I swear there was like one part, I'm pretty sure that was like an ode to Watchtower just for like a couple seconds on that record, because Watchtower is like kind of like that in a way too. I don't know whatever happened to Watchtower. But anyway, one of the things that I remember reading about Spiral Architect is you said your goal was not only to challenge yourselves as musicians, but to challenge the listener. How did you ever come up with music that insane? Like, Holy crap. Like, is there even a 4/4 time signature on that record?
I don't think so.
Because it takes some listens. I've heard it so much over time, but how long did it take to write that record?
It took a well, I started in a band in '96, and back then they had Fountainhead, the song,
Yeah.
and that's what pretty much all they had. And they had they had most of Cloud Constructor, and that was the first song that when I was on the first rehearsal with them, they started playing that, and I just had to hook up the microphone and start improvising vocals, and that is pretty much the vocals that are on the album. The melodies came that very minute I hooked up the phone, the microphone, and they had a lot of parts, but not songs. So they said, "Hey, there's this song," and I said, "Wow, that sounds amazing. Oh, well, all right, maybe we'll do something with that." And that was spinning. So, and some of the songs were written as a whole years later, and but it took some years to get the songs the way we wanted them.
Yeah, it's a very complex record, and one thing I've noticed with that record too is that the bass is not lowered in the mix. It's definitely not an injustice for all here. It is very pushed up, which makes me wonder, did the bass player write a lot of the music? I don't remember his name. Yeah,
he writes a lot of the music.
He's amazing.
He does.
Yeah. That's not a bad thing. What I actually like is that the bass is actually very standout in that band in a very unique way. And one of the other things with that record too is that there's so many unorthodox parts that people are singing and soloing over. It's like awkward, but you've made every bit of it work, and that's what I think is cool about that record. It's focused. It's Spiral Architect. I'd love to hear another one. I don't know if that'll ever actually happen because people are busy, and those things take a long time. But I don't know. But if you think there'll ever be another Spiral Architect record?
Well, everybody is on board for it, and we have a lot of music. The problem is that back then we were all single, and we had nothing better to do, almost. So it was music 24/7, and we rehearsed 8 hours a day for 5 days a week, maybe. And but now we have families, we have a lot of commitments, and so we hope that we can do it, but it's enormous amount of work to do an album like that for us.
Exactly. And consider you just did a Terra Odium record and all that stuff too, and put that out. I mean, it's a lot.
That took 6-7 years. So.
Yeah, it took a long. I don't know. I just remember when there was like this bass playthrough, but you had that hyped up on your Facebook page and all that stuff. I was like, oh, this should be pretty cool, because it's cool to hear. I like when I hear you on records. I'm like, oh, he's on that. I'll check it out. So, generally speaking. So here's one that you were on too. It was Scariot's Momentum Shift. How did that come to be?
Well,
that's an old one.
Yeah, I lived in Sweden at that time, and I think Oscar was on board with that, and Daniel, the songwriter who was the boss of Scariot, he contacted me and asked if I wanted to sing on the album, and I think he had the songs ready.
Yeah.
And, the guitars, all the vocals are mine, of course. But so, I think Oscar asked Steve DiGiorgio to join, And again, the rest is history.
Yeah, it was just almost like related bands, but there's like a whole bunch of cool records in here that you were on too. And I know you wrote the lyrics for the Universal, if I'm correct, which is that is a dark song.
Yeah,
that is not a happy song. Like I swear, like there's a review about that record somewhere that says there's no song, like these guys are not happy campers and blah blah blah. And but I mean, hey, we got to listen to some sad boy music too, although that's not really quite the definition of sad boy music. But I thought it was a cool record. I bought that one. I have that upstairs, and I found a seller somewhere that had it. You don't go to a store here in Nova Scotia, Canada, and find some of these records. If I went in and asked for even Terra Odium, they're going to be like, who's that? That's not Justin Bieber. Dude, I still remember back in the day when I was like a teenager and I went in and asked for a Dragon Force record and they didn't know who it was because Guitar Hero didn't put them out yet.
Oh, okay.
And they were just like, what's that? You would never be asked that now. They would all know. But I remember just like before they really hit it big, that was a thing too. So Terra Odium, obviously, you guys were a band. You and Bolly were in a band called Manitou, if I'm pronouncing that right. And is that still a band?
Manitou? No, it's not. As I said, I used to live in Sweden, and Manitou disbanded in like 1995.
Oh,
and
wow.
I moved to Oslo, and later I moved to Sweden. So when I came back, we and starting to talk. Get in touch with Bully and again, and we did do a few Manitou live shows.
Okay.
So some of the songs were actually meant to. The video here is.
Yeah, mine's all freezing up. It's Zoom being stupid, but either way, I noticed that you haven't froze up, or at least.
Oh, good.
You haven't. Nobody needs to see me anyway.
well, some of the songs were meant to be on a new Manitou album. Like "The Shadow Long" was written for Manitou, really, and we played it live with Manitou, and also "The Thorn" was supposed to be on a new Manitou album.
But either way, it's out as Terra Odium now. But I've heard a few songs like Desert Storms was a cool one that you guys did.
Yeah, I wrote that.
Yeah, I'm not so well versed in that, but I thought that was a cool song. So it's cool to see that you guys are still actually writing this music. I know some of it maybe never hit the mainstream in Prague, but for people who haven't checked it out, I should put some links below in the description. And if not, check it out. It's on YouTube. But one thing that I know why in the world of YouTube things don't always blow up, but Ole, I subscribe to it. I'm like one of like the few subscribers. He has a channel, and you guys do Sun IC. Did I say that right? This looks like Sonic, but anyway, you guys do a whole bunch of covers, and you did a Fates Warning cover. You did a few Fates Warning covers, I believe. And holy crap, there's one of them. I got to think of the name. I'm really miserable with the names right now this morning, which is really crappy because, forgive me, it's early here.
We did Exodus.
Exodus, thank you.
And Ivory Gates of Dreams. The whole
20
side of the album, 28 minutes.
Yeah, that's a long one. And so was that done on a 7-string? Because I learned how to play that one by ear. And or did you play it?
Yes, so we both play 7 strings. So I'm guessing I don't know.
Okay.
But probably.
Yeah. It's like when I was playing, I'm like, oh, this is easily a 7-string riff. And I have a couple 7 strings behind me. And that's like, oh, okay, cool. And it's just one that I really thought was really awesome was Exodus, which has been out for years. And are you planning on doing any more videos for that channel? Yeah,
we have a bunch of songs ready.
Awesome.
We have been focusing on Terra Odium. So we have one, two, I don't know, we have 4 or 5 at least.
Yeah.
Ready.
So like one of the bands that I know, like you like the guitar driven music, which is really cool because I'm like that too. But a band that I really liked over time, which you did perform live with, was Arcturus. Now you're not on any of the records, but you showed me a few videos once of Arcturus live in Greece.
Yeah.
That is an old show, and you were coming up replacing a very like prominent vocalist named Garm. I don't know his full name, but I just know him as stage name.
Christopher Rigg. He's in Ulver.
Yes, and you did that, and you came in, and now a lot of people say like, oh, he was always replaced by Vortex from Dimmu Borgir for anybody who watches Metalocalypse. Did you ever watch that?
No.
Oh my God. So just to explain before I get back on track, Metalocalypse was the most popular band in the world was called Deathclock, and Deathclock was they were death metal, and like they were all based on different people, but in the show there was always references to other bands. So it'd be like Iced Earth Skating Rink or blah blah blah. But there's this one episode where Nathan Explosion, the vocalist, is having a nightmare that his band failed, and that he's in a restaurant, or he's working at a fast food restaurant taking orders, and they're called Dimmu Borgir. That's why I said that. Anyway, so while Vortex maybe was the guy who took that on, you were the live vocalist. How long were you with Arcturus?
3 or 4 years.
Oh, wow. It was a long time then. And did you ever do any like demos or anything with them?
Yeah. I did for the album that came when Vortex started. He started after me. Yep. So I can't remember the name of the shipwreck.
That's Sideshow Symphonies.
Sideshow Symphony. So a few of those songs. I started doing vocals for those songs. So there's a demo for that.
Yeah. And one thing I noticed, what I really liked too, is you guys did Painting My Horror live. And what Garm, he's always like this kind of like lower vocals that he does. And he got that very dark sound. You can do that, but you can do all the higher stuff. And I noticed you added a higher part to Painting My Horror. I'm like, I wish that was what was on the record. Not that I would change La Masquerade like at all. It's a killer record that they did. But
absolutely,
man, like how is it going in replacing somebody like that and in your own takes? Does it feel weird, or is it just like I'm gonna do my own versions? And I guess the band was cool with it.
Well, it was strange because it was so different from my vocals, and also I had to learn to scream like black metal screaming.
Ooh, yeah.
I never done that before, so that was new to me. So it was different to sing other singers' vocals. But it was really enjoyed playing live with Arcturus, and we did the first shows that they didn't play live before I started. Garm, he did one show with them.
Oh wow! So they didn't play live before that?
No, never. They did one show far in the woods somewhere.
That's the most black metal thing I've ever heard.
Of
course it was far in the woods.
So I did the first show with them. So those, I think the one in Greece we talked about. I think that is Arcturus's maybe 6th concert ever or something like that.
I think they played a lot more with Vortex.
They toured the world with when he started.
Yeah, and he he did the there's a whole live DVD, I think Live in Oslo or one of those things. That's pretty cool. So is there any like new bands that have caught your attention out there? Because we've talked a lot about the old influences like, Queensryche, Fate's Warning, King Diamond, things like that. Is there any new bands coming up that have you checked out anything new or anything you've heard that caught your attention?
They're new to me, but they're really old bands.
Yeah, that happens.
So I mean, Haken and Leprous, and I'm more into fusion and stuff like that. And when it's metal, I'm usually I'm listening to the old 80s, the Fates Warning, the Cribs of Glory, Kiss, and Judas Priest, and Metallica and stuff like that. And I'm not really into newer bands. There are really good bands, but it's harder to. It's something different when the old bands.
I haven't quite got there yet, but there is a magic to some of those older bands too that I find that some things just. I don't know if it's just the computer generation or something right now that's changed things up, but there was just something about some of those old records like Abigail and them, like Diamond and Queen's
atmosphere and the sound and everything.
Just I don't know. There's a certain thing about it that just hits, and that's not to diss the newer bands. There are some amazing newer bands out there for sure. Like you mentioned, Leprous. I mean, they're another world out there. They're like a whole separate entity from like I'm Tom Spiral, Architect, and this one like Leprous. Just you listen to them and like they're a whole other experience of unorthodox too.
And also like Opeth. I started liking them when it's doing more prog stuff.
Yeah,
and we actually played live with Opeth twice, I think, and I was going out to check them out, and I thought it's not kind of it's really not my cup of tea. But some years later, I started listening to them when they starting to get more prog, and I really like them now.
Yeah,
that's one of the bands that I listen to.
Yeah, I've seen them.
Newer bands, but they're really.
I don't know if Opeth, I would consider them new, but I've seen them twice. I almost would have been able to meet them once, and I was in Seoul, Korea, and I didn't realize how easy it would have been to meet a band like that. So I met Dark Tranquillity from Sweden. Like that, we had a whole party. That was something. I'm not going to get into that in this video, but they were a lot of fun. Those guys was Daniel from Soilwork was there, like some of the Swedish guys and stuff. So yeah, that was my first experience with like people from over that end of the world. Either way, so you're a guitar player. This is a guitar channel for the most part, and we mostly talk about vocalists. You're the second vocalist I've had on here to do videos. The other guy was Sam Estereth. Either way, you're a guitar player too. Do you got any favorite guitars? Like I see you playing on Instagram sometimes, and you're a beast.
Well, I am. One of my first influences was Jason Becker, and also Marty Friedman was really a favorite back then. Then also Vinnie Moore and Yngwie and players like that. And I later got a taste for Frank Gambale or the more fusion style guitarists, Sean Lane. Guitars like that, but also I forgot his name in Pink Floyd. Sorry.
Oh, David Gilmour.
David Gilmour, of course.
Dude, I've been forgetting names half this video, so don't worry. We're on the same page here of forgetting. No, it's all good. I suck at remembering things.
So back in the day, on my top 10 list of the albums that I've listened to the most are Jason Becker, Perpetual Burn, and Marty Friedman, Dragon's Kiss.
Yeah, I think it was called Dragon's Kiss. Yeah, I couldn't quite remember that one either. All I know is I have to play the Symphony of Destruction solo today again, and I hate covering Marty because it was horrible. But I don't have to record it, so I'm good because it's a hell ride. Marty's it's wild. Do you have any favorite guitars though? You have I know you had you were a Jackson player for a while, but I know you had a Solar at one point as well.
All favorite guitars, I had a Solar, but now I'm all Ibanez now. It's Steve plays Ibanez, I play Ibanez, and Bully play Ibanez.
Yeah.
So I have a model is called RGD, I think.
Okay.
With just one volume knob and a really small pickup selector.
Yeah. Well, Ibanez model names are like RG754321, blah 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 blah, and like the whole alphabet will be thrown in there. And what's the green one? You know, with the grain and the whammy bar. Okay, I know exactly what you mean. But yeah, the RGD series, I know exactly what you're talking about. I mean, I've got I have 4 Ibanez instruments. One's a bass as well. It's a BTB. So I have a RG from Japan in like the 90s, and that I need to do a bit of work to that one right at the second. It's not holding its tuning quite so well, but my God, those play great. Those like the Japanese Ibanez, like Ibanez is all over the place in quality, but like you get to the higher end stuff, like you're getting a good instrument for sure.
Yeah, I have the RGD is a Prestige, so it's really good.
Right on. So you mostly play 7-string, or you got 6 strings too that you play quite a bit?
Well, I only play 7 strings now.
Oh, okay.
But I still have a Petrucci signature Music Man with only 6 strings, but I haven't played that in a few months. So.
Yeah, no, man, I enjoy the 7-string stuff too. I mean, I could probably spend most of my time writing on one. I enjoy 6-string standard playing as well. Like that's kind of where I've been all week when I've been playing. I've been busy. Well, I think we are pretty much at the end of this thing. So one more question. Is there going to be another Terra Odium record one of these days?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's awesome.
We have music for at least 2 more albums already.
Oh, sweet. Okay, that's good. So there's going to be plenty more coming out at some point. We won't worry about the dates right now. Everybody's busy. That's one thing people have to realize. Oh, they say in Spotify, put out more. Like we have things like music doesn't always make money. We all have day jobs here. We're doing this on a weekend, by the way, when we're off work. So, or at least I'm off work today. I hope you are too. So, all right. Thank you so much for doing this interview with me. And if there's anything else that you would like to say to people, go for it.
Well, thank you for giving us the attention here, and yeah, I really hope that we can come to Canada and play with Terra Odium. That will be awesome.
So you're gonna have to play Montreal, because that means I'm gonna have to fly up there to watch it. Montreal, Toronto, and stuff. Because Canadian tours are like never really Canadian tours. It's always like Vancouver, Toronto, Montreal. The rest of Canada doesn't exist according to tours, but either way, if you do play here, you could probably play at one of the dive bars in town. That's where the death metal bands play for the most part. Yeah, we get stuff like Gorod and different things like that. There's a big pillar right in the middle of the floor, which almost is like the pits go like on the other side of the pillar. I don't know. I mean, I haven't done that since this whole thing started in the world, but in saying that, thank you so much for doing this. If you guys have not checked out Terra Odium, Spiral Architect, and all these things that we've mentioned, or whatever bands, it's like, please do that. You can also subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to Sun IC as well, because they only have 100 some subscribers. Now, they don't put tons of videos out, but the ones that are there are all quality, okay? So either way, thank you so much for doing this with me today. And we'll see you all next time. All right. See yous.